Hi everyone, it's time for the weekly video, and I was going to upload this one a little bit earlier. It's a bank holiday weekend here in the UK. I had time to do stuff, but I'm slightly behind schedule, and I will explain why in a moment. Anyway, I did say that this week would have a few more treats compared to last week and recent weeks, and that has been the case. I won't show you more of my guitar books that I bought. I'll save that for a particular treat slash punishment one week. But yeah, that's been fun to have a bit of time trying to get back to that at my late age. I hope you enjoyed the recent podcast special where we discussed Purple Rain from Justin to Kelly, Fatal Deviation and Burlesque, all of which were tied together by the theme of pop stars featuring in films without having then fully moved into acting, as it were. They gave it, a go once or twice and didn't do much more. It was an interesting conversation. It was a fun chat. We were all present and correct, and I thought it was great. So I hope you enjoyed that too. Like and subscribe to the videos, as lo-fi and clumsy as they are, and you will get extra nuggets. So last week I received my pre-order of this, the latest Stephen King tome. You'll Like It Darker is a collection of, I believe it's 12 short stories, and this cost me precisely £0 and 0 pence because I had a voucher as a prize winner for pre-ordering or Indiegogoing or helping to fund the last project from House of Leaves Publishing, which was to do with the found footage movies. And you may recall I showed the package where I got the tea, the bookmarks, the burners, everything in that. Really nice. So this was actually an extra delayed treat from that. And as my reading has gone up a notch lately, and I've really enjoyed getting back to that and making time for reading, I really look forward to this. And I think everyone picked this up last week. Everyone who's a Stephen King fan, everyone who generally knows what to expect from him, and you can definitely mark off a bingo card of Kingisms whenever you read a lot of his stuff. But he is still, he's great in short story form, arguably still better in short story form nowadays than in full novel form. There are titles that you could certainly make the case for. He's done some great stuff in the past, I would say 10 to 15 years, but he's still the master of the short story, so I really look forward to that. And then I received a box set from Radiance Films. When I was young, the one thing I really wanted to be, although I never quite had the skill set, was a ninja. So obviously I pre-ordered the Shinobi set, which has the 3 main films in there. And yeah, I'm hoping they look nice. There are a few extras dotted about there. I would have liked a few more, but I think it's probably just great to have these films available in a nice presentation. But yeah, I had a friend. Have we all got that one friend who had somehow a few different throwing stars and nunchucks, and you would go around and practice with these things and just end up, you would hit yourself on the knees, so you would be damaged there. You would try the throwing star against a really thin post and they would just end up wedged in the back fence, so you take them off there. Whereas you really should have just drawn a target on the back fence, and that would have been the easiest way to practice things without risking maiming or killing anybody at the other side of that post. It's really obvious now. As an adult, I'm like, as a kid, I was like, we're going to be ninjas. And that's all we did. So I'm looking forward to checking out the Shinobi films. Radiance Films have a really interesting catalogue. I was clued into their, I think they did some Euro, Euro Noir. Yeah, was one. I can't even see the set from here, but I believe I ordered that, and they've got Euro Noir Volume 2 for pre-order, so I pre-ordered that. I am trying not to order everything they put out. It's more hit and miss to my taste, but it's really nice stuff for people who are digging a bit deeper into the cinema offerings that have been pulled up from the depths, cleaned up, restored, given great treatment. So it's another really smashing boutique Blu-ray label, and they've got some great contributors. They they know what they're doing. They're aiming for a niche that they're really looking to fill well. So nice one with that. I look forward to it. But the creme de la creme last week, the thing I was waiting for all week, I did think it might come before last week's video. It didn't. I was waiting and waiting. It eventually arrived at the end of last week, and I've been so excited. I'm nearly finished it already. It's a book, in a way, but it's so much more than that. It is 40 years of Scream. The archival collection, the complete collection. There you go. Be warned. And it's just a beautiful thing. Now I'm going to tell you, for those who don't know about the Scream comic. So I saw this. This is a reprint of issue 1's cover. And it says in there, 22 pence, 24th of March 1984. Free your Dracula fangs. I definitely got my free Dracula fangs. So now I know I was about 8 years old when I picked up issue 1 of Scream. And I know I must have had enough pocket money to pay the 22 pence. Then I know that I got issue 2 because issue 2 comes with a free spooky spider. And I know that I got the free spooky spider. Scream ran for 15 issues. This is what I found out then. I lost my way with it as a child, and you don't always have the pocket money at the right time. You don't have the self-control to think ahead. There is an interesting just 1 or 2 pages at the start explaining kind of how it came about and what battles they went through as soon as they were trying to set the right tone and aim for horror stories for a younger audience. I loved it. I think it's very quaint to read now. I think it's it's an overdose of nostalgia. Not everything works, but the main tales still work. So there's the 13th Floor, which was the tale of Max the computer in Maxwell Tower. Absolutely superb, consistently brilliant for every issue. There's the Dracula Files, which took the idea of Dracula and put it in a modern setting. Now, modern setting in this comic, early 80s, there's the Cold War aspect. There are things going on that already would date it by the time this came out, but it was a fun, modern take on Dracula, which we've had in film and other medium, but this was in a comic. It was it really felt like fresh and brilliant. And there was Monster. Monster was a tale of a kid who ended up finding a monster in his home, and it was his uncle who doesn't understand the world around him, will react violently to things and end up leaving corpses in his wake, and basically they're on the run. And Monster is really good. It's also probably a bit problematic in the way things are portrayed, and that crops up in some of the various comic strips throughout. But I think overall it holds up really well. And as I was reading through it, as you can see where my bookmark is, I have about 1 issue to go, and this is why I delayed my video. I was hoping to finish the whole thing before I did my video, but I'll get to it just after, I guess. I'll finish it by this evening. It holds up as really entertaining. The art is generally, I think, really good. It's a bit very variable on some stories, but let's have a look. Was there one here? It feels influential and obviously quite influenced by everything around. There was a story in the 3rd or 4th issue, a short story called Green Fingers, which is essentially the Ballad of Geordie Verrill, told for kids. There is this panel here at the end of a tale called Unlucky for Some, if you see that. To me, that made me think of Dog Soldiers. I don't know whether Neil Marshall was a fan. I think he would be. There's other stuff there. And bizarrely though, for me, I thought I'd read 2 or 3 issues. The further through this volume I got, the more I remembered. So whether it was a panel or whether it was a story or an installment of the long-running story, I saw things crop up and I thought, no, I know where this goes. So I may have actually managed to stick with it longer than I thought. And it did become quite erratic with being late to print and not making the dates it was due in newsagents because of battles about the content and what was in there. So if you have any recollection of Scream, I highly recommend this. It's just, you know, the whole thing collected together. It's wonderful. If you are at all interested in you know, comic books and the history of comic books, then Scream is a very small but very beloved by a loyal core fan base, part of the history of the British comic book scene. And yeah, I'm often jack of all trades, master of none. So I'm certainly not a master of you know, comic books and being able to deliver a timeline and an exploration of that scene. But Scream is definitely, you know, it has sustained the conversation. It definitely feels like as if it earned its touchstone place, and that might just be for a minority of people who will recognise me talking about it now, but it might actually be for more people who forgot about it for decades and will now remember there was something out there that scared and entertained them as a child. And yeah, I love it. The nostalgia is all over me with this one, and it's what I wanted to show off in the video this week because it arrived too late for last week. Anyway, that's it. I've got some more reading to do now, and I'll be watching more movies. I'm coming to the end of animation month on my blog, so there'll be time to catch up with probably more recent releases and different things. Next week on the podcast, we are covering a film that I keep forgetting the name of, with James Gandolfini and Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and a film that I keep forgetting the name of from Kurosawa, not Akira Kurosawa. It's Kibayoshi Kurosawa, the Kurosawa who gave us Cairo and Cure, and that's Dave's choice. And yeah, I've gone completely blank on both titles, but if you've listened to the podcast, I hope you are aware of them. Do check them out if you can. And as I say, I hope you enjoyed last week's conversation about those pop music movies. Well, 3 of them were pop music movies. One was the Irish martial arts movie to end all Irish martial arts movies. Yeah. Until next week, bye.